Well, hello everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to the last in this summer PD series that I've been doing this summer, and I've been having a blast doing it. And thank you so much for those of you that have tuned in live or watched the archive recordings. This has been a lot of fun, and can't wait to share with you guys today. So today, last but not least, the final session is going to be all about Bitmoji. And for those of you that know me, I kind of have a Bitmoji addiction. I like to call her Jenmoji, and she leads a very exciting life. So today I'm going to give you some of my favorite tips and tricks of how to use your Bitmoji to engage your audience. So please let me know here in the chat if you're tuning in live. If you're not tuning in live and you're watching from the future, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Right here, I got, let's see, Crystal says, good afternoon. All right. Lynn, woohoo, the Bitmoji queen herself. Thank you. I've even been called the Bitmoji Whisperer, which I think is pretty hilarious, but I love it. Because I probably have made about 100 people's Bitmojis, or I've done some remixes of their Bitmojis because they're like, it doesn't look like me, fix it. So I, of course, love Bitmoji, and we're going to talk about some really fun stuff here today. So let's dive in. So if you happen to have stumbled across this video and you don't know me, my name is Jennifer Hall, and I'm an educational technology specialist with Atlanta Public Schools. And what that means is that I provide technology training for teachers around the district, and I work closely with teachers to collaborate and plan technology-infused lessons. And it's super fun to push into classrooms and work with students as well. And so I use my Bitmoji for everything. And this session that I put together is just kind of fun. And I'll tell you a little bit the backstory of where it came from. So simple goals. This is a fun Friday session here. We're going to learn tips and tricks for using your Bitmoji to engage your audience. And this session really started as kind of a fun, just spark activity. I got to go to the Google Innovator Academy this year, cohort NYC 19, woohoo. And they asked us if we wanted to present on something we were passionate about. And I was like, well, if it can be fun, I'm passionate about my Bitmoji. And so the first time I did this session was there with those folks. And it's now become kind of like a more popular thing that I'm doing. And I keep adding more tips and tricks to the session. So glad you're here. So thrilled. I see Marina says, I'm here again. I love it. You've been hanging out with me a lot this summer, and I appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. So I said it comes from my story with the Bitmoji comes from my Google Innovator. So this is me telling my story with my Jenmoji about applying for the Google Innovator Academy, trying to get to becoming a Google Innovator, put in that application. I was a little nervous about it. Fingers crossed. Please let it happen. And that's kind of how I was feeling, waiting on the results. And then it was like, yes, I got accepted. And I was super excited because I was on the Norm Busters team, and off to New York City I went. And there we go, NYC 19. And once I got there, I was so excited just to be there and learn with them. So this is me. This was my little spark here. I right here used it to do storytelling. So Bitmoji is a great way to do that and hook your learners. So we're going to talk about how I did that. So if you haven't already done so, you're going to want to make sure that you download the extension. There is a Chrome extension. So if you happen to have it on your phone, and a lot of people are like, oh, I have a Bitmoji on my phone, I have the app, and I just message people. That's great. So you're halfway there. You just need to install the extension, and you need to log in. And that extension lives up here in your Chrome bar, and mine's hiding from me right now, but it's going to live up here. And I've got this quick sheet and the link to, and I'll put the link in the description to make sure that you install that extension if you're not already doing so. And you can install it if it's allowed in your Google admin domain. If not, I've got it in both my Google, it's approved for my school district, and I've also got it installed on my personal one. I love it. I got, hey y'all, we got from South Carolina. Stephanie, thanks for tuning in. Stacy says, love your Bitmoji. Yes, Jenmoji, she's so awesome. She's ageless, she's timeless, she's jazzy, she's bold, all of that good stuff. And Crystal said, oh, that's awesome. Congrats. Yes. The Google Innovator Academy, if you have the opportunity to apply, is amazing. And I've met some amazing educators through that project. So this right here is kind of showing you how you download and install it. So this is kind of like, I did a little screen grab here. So what's cool is once you have you install the extension, you can, and you can just search, hey, Bitmoji, Chrome extension, I need to get this. And it's going to be the first thing that pops up. You install it. And then once you do that, you can bring in your Bitmoji into your Google Docs, into your Google Slides, into your Google Drawings, you can also use like PowerPoint Online and copy and paste in there using Control-C, Control-V. So once you log in, you got your Bitmoji in, I can do all sorts of cool stuff. It's going to live right there up in the top, and I can be like, oh, I want different Bitmojis, and I just drag them in. So this is a really cool way to use your Bitmoji to just jazz up your presentation. So if any of you have tuned into any of my presentations so far, you know that Jenmoji is the person that, or my avatar that I use all the time. And it's kind of funny because I've even had people come up to me and go, I recognize you from your cartoon, which I take that as a high compliment. So as you can see, I can easily drag in stuff into Google Drawings, into Google Slides. But what's really powerful, and I'm going to show you some specific examples, are that I can go in and I can modify using Google tools. I can go in and change out elements. So I love that this Bitmoji says you can do it, but I might want to change it to something else. So you as a teacher that works directly with students, you might want to make digital stickers that are more personalized with your teacher name on there, or if you do class themes and names, student names and so forth, you can do it really, really, really cool. And Crystal says you can even use it in your signature in Gmail. Yes, it will pull directly into Gmail. And I've even made a signature that I use in Outlook that includes my Bitmoji as well. Awesome. So as you can see, I'm just customizing the text here. I can jazz it up. So I'm making now a new image. So I started with that original image that said you can do it, and then I changed it out. So you can do all sorts of cool stuff with it. So once you get that extension installed. So I use my Bitmoji for a ton of things, and I'm going to highlight some of the projects and ways I use it. And maybe you didn't go, oh, I didn't think about doing that. Maybe you'll get an idea too. So first of all, I use my Bitmojis for my social media logos and stickers. So literally, very rarely will you see a headshot that's actually of me out there. It's always going to be my Jenmoji. So when I was preparing for this virtual PD series, I, of course, created this advertisement. This is actually my latest sticker design. And I took a classy graphics class and classy creations, both with Tony Vincent. And if you haven't taken his classes, they're amazing. And so one of our challenges was to create a logo, and this was the new sticker. And I've got a limited print of those, which is pretty cool. As you can see, I make it for my Twitter stuff right here. Wait, can you say that one more time? I can go in here and I can create custom headers for my Google Classroom. And we're going to talk about the customizing text. So that's me going in and really kind of changing out elements of it, but I'm going to show you some other options for customizing your text. So here we've got custom headers. So making a custom banner for your Google Classroom, a lot of teachers have been doing that, but I always add in my Bitmoji because I teach classes, I do trainings throughout the district, and I work with multiple schools. And so for me to have that in there, people go, hey, I recognize that's Jen's Google Classroom, and this is a great way to do it. And your kids will find it really entertaining too, because you can go in and use different Bitmojis based on the content that you're teaching. So I have two different Google headers. I have one that's made in Google Drawings and another that's made with slides. And those links to those templates are going to be in the description. So you can grab that if you would like and customize it. All you do is take out my Jenmoji and add in your Bitmoji and customize it, which is a lot of fun. And I do a lot of like different ones. So like this one right here, you'll see has been modified. So I also use it for custom headers in Wakelet and Flipgrid. So again, when people are responding to my Flipgrids or they're seeing my Wakelet collection stuff, they're seeing, oh, that's Jen's, that's on there. So it's got my Tech Tips 411 logo on it, and it's also going to have Jenmoji. So as you can see, I've got a template also in Google Drawings. If you want for Flipgrid, I'll put that link in there too. So right now, you can grab that, and then you have a template you can use very easily. And thank you. I see Lee's. Oh, love your work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I've been having a lot of fun sharing all these great tips and tricks. So other ways in terms of social media, and you can get really creative for social media posts. So how many of you guys remember when there was the Dolly Parton challenge that Dolly Parton Instagrammed out a graphic that had her LinkedIn, her Facebook, Instagram, and she had Tinder. I did not do that because I wanted it to be more professional, so I put in Twitter. So these are my Jenmoji personas for each of those professional networks. And so I created that as a graphic to share out on social media. I also use it to make announcements. So when I recertified as a national board teacher, I of course customized and included the national board logo so that I could tweet that out and share, the great news. I also, for those of you that subscribe to my Tech Tips 411, you'll see that. If you're not already subscribed, I'm going to share that information in the link and I'll highlight it at the end of the session. But I create a weekly Tech Tips 411 that goes out during my regular school year with teachers. And I include a Bitmoji literally for every single tool I use. And I get pretty creative with how I use it. And you can include it in newsletters and you can include it in tools like Adobe Spark and in Canva if you want to create your newsletters that way. So I also do a lot of infographics. It just kind of makes them more interesting to do these infographics and it makes them, I don't know, more entertaining. And I was thoroughly amused that this one over here on the left, the online class etiquette, I created it to share with my teachers and then shared it out on social media. And I was thoroughly amused when I even heard from an educator, a principal, in fact, in Australia that was like, loved your etiquette thing. Can my teachers use it? And I was like, it's out there, use it. But I couldn't believe, see, my Jenmoji is going places. She just is out there in the world doing awesome stuff. So using it for infographics, it just kind of visualizes, it gives a visual cues. Like here's the virtual field trips one that I created. And both of these will be included in the presentation if you're interested in either of these infographics. But you'll notice that like those visual cues for students, even for younger kids, will be like, oh, a road trip. I get it. I got it. Okay. So it's just using your Bitmoji to make it more visual. Let's see. Oh, Crystal says your infographics are amazing. Thank you. I enjoy graphic design and just creating different things, and we'll literally just sit there for hours and lose track of time because I'm having way too much fun creating stuff. So thank you so much. So here's another one. It was on extensions for Google Meet. Here's another one. Jenmoji's helping me talk about the new features and the feedback options in Flipgrid. And both of those infographics, the links will be included as well. So I'm a tech person, so I very rarely print stuff, but every once in a while you might need to print something. And so this is actually a tabletop creation that I printed, and I did it so that when I go to conferences and I look forward to being back in the real world and seeing people, that I could set this up on a table like at the front of the room where I held the session, or around the room if I've got multiple tables. And it's a trifold, so it's got three sides to it. And the idea is that I've got on the one side, this QR code goes to get people to sign up for my Tech Tips 401. This middle one, it's a different QR code, and this is a link to my website. And this one over here is another QR code that gets you to my app. And then you fold it together and you can put it on a table. So when we get back to face-to-face classes, this would be a great way for you to put your Bitmoji on there that's kind of telling the kids what the task is. And then you can have different QR codes on there to go to different activities. Or you don't need QR codes, you could just have your instructions. So you can do little trifold table toppers like this. And I just think it's a really cool way to personalize it and engage. Again, we're engaging that audience. So other things that I use my Jenmoji for are to create custom headers or scenes for like Twitter, YouTube, and websites. So this is actually what my Tech Tip Studio looks like right now. That's me looking. Those are all my computers, all my gear. I recreated it with shapes and added my Jenmoji in there to show people, because they're like, well, what does this Tech Tips 411 studio look like that you're in at home? And I'm like, this is it. So creating different scenes. And so this has now become my banner on my Twitter, on my YouTube channel. It's even on my website. So it's kind of consistent when people see that it has that same look and feel and it's got Jenmoji on it. So other ways you might want to use your Bitmoji is to create cartoons. And you can do this on any topics. And this is a great way to explain or introduce students to content. And so back to Tony Vincent's class, we had a task where we had to do a cartoon. And so this is actually screen grabs from that cartoon I created using Google Slides and bringing in my Jenmoji. And I kind of hacked my little, I moved her all around, did different scenes. And I created a cartoon that shows my teachers what my job is, because I have new teachers every year. So at the start of this next school year, I'm going to have someone go, an ETS? What is that? What do you do? I don't understand. How can you help me? So I created this cartoon. It's just 8 slides that explains my role, how I can help teachers. And I'll be able to share this out as kind of like my welcome, get to know you. You can do the same thing with your students, introducing content, setting the stage for what your expectations are for your virtual classroom, as well as your face-to-face classroom. So the cartoon option is a really cool way to do that. So let's get into some level up stuff. So that's me just dropping in, Bitmojis here and there and doing a little editing. But this is probably one of my favorite things that I've figured out how to do. And I've call it my face swapping. I don't know if anyone else has figured out how to do this. I was super excited that I sometimes there's a Bitmoji I love, but it's not the right facial expression I want to share what, to show what I'm saying, to express my thinking or just convey my message. So if we take a look over here on the left, this is the original Bitmoji, and it's like, let's do this. To me, like those high eyebrows and that expression on the face is more like kind of like evil. We're up to no good. And I wanted it to be something that was more inviting or positive. So I went in and I face swapped. So what I did was I stitched two Bitmojis together. So this is my first really cool hack. I think you guys are going to be like, what? And if you've seen this before, I'm curious if you've tried it. So this is what I call face swapping. So what that looks like is I'm going to pull in my original one right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another one that has a similar profile, and I'm going to crop that one down so that I just have the face. I don't have any of the text, anything else. And then I'm just going to overlay it on top of that one. And then I'm going to group that image so it's now a brand new image with that new expression. So that's what I call face swapping. So what do you think? Pretty cool? Do you think this is something you could do? Because again, sometimes the faces, the expressions are just not right on them, and you want to be able to modify it. So all I did there was bring in a second Bitmoji, crop it down just to get that face profile. And then I moved it over, aligned it, and just like that, regrouped it. And voila, you've got a new image. You can export that by grouping it. What do you think? I'm just curious. All right. So here's another example of that face swap and adding a background. So it just changes the look of that Bitmoji. So on the left-hand side, this is that Can I Help You? And I liked it. It was sitting in front of a computer screen, and she says, do that one more time. All right, I'm going to go back one more second here. So here it is. We brought in the one. I'm going to show it one more time. And I'm going to put the link to this little animated GIF so you can see it again. So you literally go in here, drag in the one, crop the second one. There we go. Magic is happening. Bring it in, lay it over, and then you're going to group that as a new image, and you've got that. There you go. Marie, you like that? It's pretty cool. So this one on the left-hand side, Can I Help You? Is I like it because it's in front of a computer screen. So for me, I'm like, yes, I'm always like the help desk person when people have questions. So, but I did not like this was not very inviting. So what I did do was I did a face swap, and I also put a background block behind it to give it some color so it pops. And that's now what you see on my website when you get to the homepage, because it's like, okay, I'm here to help you, and it's more inviting. I love this. Stephanie was like, what? Isn't that amazing? I don't know if anybody else is doing the face swap, but I played around. Again, I have way too much fun playing around. So I'm coining the phrase. It's Jen's face swapping, using that right there. I see that Stacy says, mind blown. Lee says, awesome. And super, super, super cool here. I have several people right here. Yeah, and I'm going to give a shout out to Tony Vincent. You have to take Tony Vincent's class. You learn everything about Google Drawings. Yes. I loved it. Well, Tony's awesome, and so I love his classes, so you should definitely check that out. I don't know if he started his summer series yet. He might be. He also, wait, I know what he's doing in the summer. He's doing his classy videos class, which is awesome too. So I highly recommend that. All right, so there's our face swap. We added a background. We jazzed it up. So now let's get into some even more fine tuning, because I need to get my Bitmoji look exactly the way I want. So I do some modifying, or I splice Bitmojis. So actually, you don't get a lot of poses, and you don't get a lot of like arms where you want them and face the way you want them. So if you take a look at this one, I actually went in and put in a different facial expression, and I added in a foot because I only had half of my body here. So I added that into that cartoon. So it's like splicing little pieces. I'm like a little surgeon with my Bitmojis. So you definitely check it out. So here's another one. So I really liked that snap, and I wanted that to be on that scene of me explaining what I do as a trainer. And so I borrowed that arm off of this one and added it in here. So as you can see, I just kind of, again, splicing two Bitmojis together. And if you do this in slides or drawings, once you put your two elements together, you're just going to group those two elements. I love it. Stacy says, I'm taking classy graphics for the second time. Oh, I bet he's got even more tips. I should do that. If you don't know a lot about Google Drawings, I have an entire session I've done on Google Drawings. I'll put the link in the description, and you can check that out if that's something that you are interested in. Here we go. Customized text. Y'all were asking about this. This is magical. Excuse me. So Bitmoji has added this new feature. You need to make sure you have the updated Chrome browser and that you've newly installed the Bitmoji extension, because I've had some people tell me that they don't get this option. But when I type in text, notice what happens. It looks for things that are related to that topic, or if I put in custom ones, it will actually let me add text to different ones. So I'll type in here, for example, Jenmoji, and I can pick the ones I want. Every time I erase the text and add that text in again, it's going to give me new options. So you just might have to change them out and do it a few times. Like when I did that Tech Tips 411, I did it several times to get one that I liked. And then you just grab that one in. Okay, which to me is really cool. But anytime you do one that says customized text, like I did this one, customized text, it's going to give you this little gold yellow button here on the bottom, little dot, so that when other people see it, they'll realize it's a custom one. It's not one that you're going to see available. So that is the custom text option, which has made my workflow working with Bitmoji a lot easier, because I can just type in the ones I want. I might change it out a lot because the text, retype it because I don't like the font, or I would prefer a different color, or I would prefer a different image. But that is a super cool option. When you type in search, you're going to get some really, really cool options here. So here's some other examples. There's my Tech Tips 411, Tech Tips 411. So I searched for ones that had my similar, close to coloring right here that you might find interesting. So I definitely like, those over there, and they just kind of pop. And I left those little circles on there. But when I'm doing presentations, usually I'll just overlay a white circle, cover that up. You won't see it. Sometimes, depending on where the style of the Bitmoji, it might show up on the actual image, or you can crop it out. But yeah, so create those custom ones using the Bitmoji extension. So how many of you guys have been using that custom text option? Because to me, game changer, makes my life so much easier in terms of being able to create custom Bitmojis. All right, let's take a look at some other options here. So you saw my little story there at the beginning, me retelling how I apply for Google Innovator and the excitement and the nervousness of waiting. So I used a tool to create that you can use that is called Easy Gift Maker. And what's cool about this is that I can upload different Bitmojis, and you can do this locally from your phone. So if you saved them in your camera roll, you can just upload them on your phone and do it, or you can do it on the website and just drag in the images. But what's really cool is that I think this is really cool how I can tell a story with it. I can customize how long they're on there, do the little effects, and do a little bit of cropping right there. I see that Lynn, I've been using it a lot. I love it. Been using it for a while, using that custom text. That's awesome. And Crystal says, I've done a few, but not near as awesome as you. You are kind. Here we go. So I got this great, create the gifts to tell a story, explain a concept. So you could definitely bring in different ones using Gift Maker. So the easygift.com. All I got to do is upload it, and it works just as well on your mobile device, which is pretty cool. So I can just upload them because I've saved them already and make a cool little GIF. And it's a great way to use it for social media or to include in your presentations, just as a hook for your students to engage them, which I think that's really fun. Another tool that you can use is talltweets.com. And that means if you've created something that is inside your Google slide deck. So like this one, I did 2 scenes. They look very similar, but you'll notice that the color rays alternate. And then I've got kind of a little bit of a wave and a little bit of a smile. And then when I click on this, I get this. And I use talltweets.com to use that, to create that right there. So your kids can use it to do animations as well. I did a stop motion project recently, and Talltweets is a really cool way to do it. But I can go in and make different little scenes. And so I actually exported my cartoon all about me as a GIF, so I can just play that and someone can they don't have to hit play, it automatically plays. So there's how you can do that with an animated GIF, which is really, really cool. So let's level up a little bit more. So there's some other ways. So I love my Jenmoji, but sometimes my Jenmoji wants to hang out with friends. And so there's a couple of options for creating friendmojis. The first way to do that is through Snapchat. So Snapchat acquired Bitmoji, so they now have those rights to have you link your Bitmoji inside of your Snapchat account. So all you have to do is log in to your Snapchat account and link it. And when you do that, anyone else that you are contacts with, that you are friends with on Snapchat, they can see your Bitmoji, and they can they can pull those in. So what's really cool is I don't really use Snapchat. I literally use Snapchat for two things. One, to be able to bring my Bitmojis into text messaging, and two, another trick I'm going to show you here in a minute. So I see that Amber says, never heard of Tall Tweets. Awesome. It is super cool and it's free. It's really cool. So you're definitely going to have to check that out. So these are ones that you can search for things you want. So these are my friend emojis. But you have people that don't want to be on Snapchat, or you have coworkers that are like, I don't want to connect on a personal level. I just want us to be able to do this another way. So I'm going to show you another option, which is a hack. This is actually a Google Sheet. Someone did this magic. I didn't do the magic. I just found the magic. And what you can do is you go in and you copy and paste in your image information about your Bitmoji. So when you go up and you right click on an image, it'll say get your image address. You're going to copy and paste that into this Google sheet, and everybody adds theirs in, and then you have access to their Bitmojis to pair them up, and you can do that. So this is the example. I'll have the link in the description for this for you to check out. But this is a way without using Snapchat that you can have your friends together. And it's really cool for teachers that co-teach with your, on your team, or if you're trying to do like a back to school, photo, and you want to have access to people's Bitmojis and you don't want them to keep adding everything right now. I love that. Crystal says so much mind-blowing information. Awesome. And I've still got more. Stay tuned. We still got some more. I love it. I see that Amber, I'm learning too. I love it. So glad that you are here. And Rosy Colored Glasses says, I've been looking forward to this all week. Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So here we go. Let's go a little bit more. How about we add in more than 2 Bitmojis? And so what I will do is use Google Drawings or Slides to crop and paste images together. So I also use another app I'm going to show you here in a second. So some friends and I, we presented at ISTE this past year, and there was 3 of us. And so obviously the 2 friend emojis, that helps me get 2 people. So what I will do is pull in 2 and then pull in the same one with that other person, and then do a little cropping so that I can fit it together. And so I made this logo for the 3 of us. So if you have 3 or 4 people on your team, you can cut and splice them together using Google Drawings or using Google Slides, and then export that as a new one. I love this. Amber says also face swapping. What? Mind blown? Yes. One of my personal favorites. And so when you go out and you have way too much fun, share the wealth and the knowledge so other folks can check out and get really creative with their Bitmojis. So here we go. There it is. Adding custom logos for presentations. So adding more than one person. All right. Here's some other cool tips. Are y'all ready? Here we go. So I use my Bitmoji a lot on my phone, but when you save your Bitmoji, you can go in and search now inside the Bitmoji app. And when you choose to save that image, it saves it as a JPEG. And when it does that, it's going to put a white background on there, and which means I don't have as much flexibility with using it. So what you're going to want to do is, this is my hack for that. I use Google Keep. And if you're not familiar with Google Keep, it is amazing. So what I do is I actually go in and use the text feature, like I'm texting someone, and I paste the image into Google Keep. When I put it into Google Keep, there's a little option to click on the image, and then I can say save image. And if I save it locally, it saves it as a PNG. So it's an extra step, but it allows me to take what would have been saved as a JPEG and make it a PNG. And now I have some more flexibility. So for those of you that follow me on Twitter, and you see I do my daily t-shirt photos of the day, and I get really creative with the stuff that I tweet, I'm using Google Keep. And the other advantage of doing that is, since I put it in Google Keep, in case it's a limited edition Bitmoji, you're going to have access to it. I wish I'd done this sooner, because I've got some Star Wars ones. Those come back every once in a while, but I have Game of Thrones, and I have a lot of Avengers. I think I have Matrix, a couple of other like specific ones that were only out for a little while, and they're not all in PNG. So I'm a little limited on how I can use them. So anytime you see a Bitmoji that you really like, go ahead and save it in your Google Keep so that you can download it as a PNG. So that's my little hack there that I use Google Keep, little secret sauce information. So how I do that. So here's an example of what I was talking about. I actually use this app called PhotoGrid, and I use it almost every day to create my photos of the day with the t-shirts. And so as you can see, I was having way too much fun. I pulled in a background. I brought myself in, and I used another tool, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. These are elements you can bring in the photo editor that you can bring in inside of Twitter or inside of PhotoGrid, depending on which ones you want. And then as you can see, I overlaid my Jenmoji in there to create this image. And so that was using PhotoGrid. Now, PhotoGrid is not, there's free, and then there's a paid version of it. The free version is what I use, which means it's going to have advertisements, and that's a little annoying, but I don't really care because their paid service is, I think, like $10 a month, and I'm able to do everything I want to be able to do. So, you know, I just think that I can go with the free version and I'm good. So check out PhotoGrid. It is on both iOS and Android, so definitely check it out. Again, I use it almost on a daily basis. I see Crystal says, wow, I had no idea. I'm just getting started with Bitmoji, so I'm going to have to start saving my faves to keep. Yes, definitely, especially if you want, like, if you'll notice, most of mine, I use the same outfit, but I will go in and customize and change them too for, you know, different outfits to match different things I'm doing. So definitely check out that. Here is an example for the May the 4th be with you. And so this was actually the tweet that I sent out, but this was the image. And because I had saved it originally as a JPEG, I had this white background I had to work with, which is kind of limiting. So again, saving your Bitmojis that you really like, especially limited edition ones, push them into Google Keep so you can always download them because they're already going to be in a PNG format. So this was that for May the 4th be with you. All right, here's some other cool apps and tools. How are we feeling, folks? Are we learning some ideas? That's what I'm curious to know. What are you excited to try so far? How many of y'all are ready to try that face swapping? It's lots of fun. So here's some other tools that I use when I'm creating things and using my Bitmoji and wanting to do social media posts or just create graphics. So one of the first up here is this remove.bg. I love that Marina says that you use Bitmojis to make stickers for my students' work. Yes. So when you create, you can drop them in just as they are onto students' work, or you can do customized ones and add their students' names and stuff. But it's an awesome way to do it. Crystal says, wonderful tip. The Google Keep tip. Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah. Using it for your students, they love that. I even saw where teachers during distance learning created their flat teachers and like flat Stanley, but they actually printed out themselves and their Bitmojis and sent out little flat teachers to their students, which was really cool. So over here, I also use another tool to do like layers of social media posts. So if I need to, I've been shooting all of my daily photos in front of my green screen. That's been great to have that, but I use the remove background if I was at a school and I wanted to take out the background, and I would just take a picture in front of the front wall, just a blank wall. You get 3 layers to work with. And Marina did that. You sent your flat Bitmoji to your students. That is awesome. I love that. I bet the kids loved it too. That's awesome that you did that. Awesome. So with Green Screen by Doing, it is a paid app. I think it's like $3.99, $4.99, worth every single penny because you're going to use it for a bunch of other stuff. But I use it because I can do 3 layers, put a background in, and layer stuff up. If you want to have even more layer options and do some green screen stuff, I also recommend VScope. It has 6 layers, which is really cool. So you really can add in a bunch of different layers. I also would recommend checking out Adobe Spark to create different like animations if you want to have kind of like a little mini movie effect and bring in your Bitmoji with some expectations. And it would be a great way to kind of set the stage for your students is to bring in your Bitmoji for your rules, your expectations, shout outs for students of the week. And you can do that in Adobe Spark's video tool. And if you're not familiar with Adobe Spark, you can use their post pages and videos. I've got an entire session that I did on Adobe Spark tools, and I'll put that link in the description, and you can check that out as well if you are interested. So those are some other tools that I use to level up, and some other things too. I also have been using Canva lately. And if you're not familiar with Canva, it's an online design tool that is really slick and pretty cool. There is a free version. And then there's a freemium, which means you pay for the pro and you get some more options. But I've been able to do everything I want to do for free because free is my favorite price. But they have an integration with Bitmoji. You can connect your Bitmoji and they live right there, and you can literally just drag them right in, which is really cool. So that would made me love Canva even more because it had that Bitmoji integration. So other tools that I use to kind of level up with my designs are the color picker eyedropper extension. And I use that because I like the fact that I can match the colors in the Bitmoji to the fonts I want to use in a presentation. So for example, I did one earlier this year that was all about assessment tools. And I love the Bitmoji that's final answer, like your Alex Trebek on Jeopardy, but it's very specific purples and yellows. And so I wanted to make sure I got the right colors for the text I wanted to add. So I used the color picker eyedropper tool to grab that to make it match. Or if I wanted things to, when I want to get my text to match like the outfit that I'm wearing, I can do that as well. I also love the noun project for icons to bring those in. And then also there's an icons extension for Google Slides and Docs that you can add in, the flat icon, to bring in and just kind of add elements to your designs. So other things that I've done, and these are just a few more creations right here. I said, I wonder, Stephanie says, I wonder how cringy sixth graders would think a flat Carter Bitmoji would be. I think they think it was cool. I mean, it's a personal touch and it shows your personality. I think that they would be cool. Crystal says, I thought about it for my seventh graders, but worried about the same thing. I mean, if that's your personality and you want to showcase that, I think the kids would get a kick out of it. Personally, go for it. So here I've got some other examples of it, sign me up for my Tech Tips 411. So I've created these to use. I also do like some mashups, like this is using that photo grid. I had to renew my Google Level 2 certification and I threw my Jenmoji on there to shout out that I was recertified. As you can see, I did another one here. And this is funny. This was like during the coronavirus time where I had not gotten a haircut yet. And so, or I got too long. So there was a flat hair Jenmoji for a while. You have to look for, it's hard to find. And then I cut my hair myself and I cut it a little short. So I had to change my Jenmoji to match me. And now we're back to good hair, which is hilarious. Let's see. I used the eyedropper the other day to make a Tanika pear deck Bitmoji. I changed the avocado to a pear. I love it. That's my teammate, Tanika. I love it. That is awesome. Very, 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 very cool. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. Love it. One of my teammates is here. That's awesome. That's the advantage of streaming live to both YouTube and Facebook. Technically, we're on vacation today. We got the day off in celebration of Juneteenth, but I'd already scheduled this session and I didn't want to miss this opportunity to share. So I love that my teammate's tuning in on her day off and learning with me. I appreciate that. So if you'll notice here, I also did this animated one. I did that tall tweets option so that it would be my logo for my lights, camera, action one. And it would have that changing effect, which is really cool. So, and then really leveling up, this was created in WeVideo where I dropped in different dance poses. So Jenmoji was dancing, and then I used live video effects behind it to give it even more of a movement look. So that's another option there. So the most recent thing I've done, so there it is. That is one of the most recent things I figured out how to do. I said there was two reasons I use Snapchat. One, to connect it so I can use it inside of my messaging and to bring in Bitmoji and Friendmojis. But the second one is you now can do these 3D animated Bitmojis. So what I did here was I shot this 3D animated Jenmoji, and I shot it in front of a Google slide that was the chroma color green. You could also do it in front of like a green screen, and because it targets on when you go to film it, it's going to be on the camera that's facing out, and you're putting your Bitmoji in your environment. So I can point that camera in front of a green screen, and then I can use that anywhere else. So what I did was I have Jenmoji dancing to my Tech Tips 411 music, which I thought that was a lot of fun. So the dancing Jenmoji, you can do different poses. I know there was one that was like sweeping. There's different dance moves. So you just need to check out, there are different filters inside of Snapchat that you can change and get your Bitmoji to be active, which that's really cool. And then the most popular thing that people have been doing lately, I'm just curious. Oh my goodness. This is awesome. Julie says, middle school students definitely give their opinions. Mine told me I needed to add my forehead line. My argument is I don't have gray hair because I can't get I'm either gray or dark haired. Mine is ageless. Just tell them that that's ageless, Julie Moji. Okay. I'm just saying, but I love it. Stacy says your tech tips are awesome. So kind of you to share. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're finding all this stuff beneficial. So right here, you guys are the first ones to see this. This is my brand new interactive training room. So a lot of teachers have been playing around and making Bitmoji virtual classrooms. And I'm curious if any of you guys have created one. There's a Facebook group called Bitmoji Crazed Teachers, which I think there's like more than 10,000 educators in there. And the stuff they're creating is amazing. So I don't have a classroom. So I decided I would make a Jenmoji virtual training room. So y'all are the first ones to see this. What do you think? Take a look. All right. So I'm going to hop over here. So it's actually in a Google slide deck here so that when I go into present view, I love it. Amber says, I'm a member of it and I made one. Awesome. Crystal says, I'm a member. Let's see. Hold on here. Crystal says, I have started one, but I've not finished. It's a work right there. And I think Marina says, yup. Wait, we got here. I've 4 years in a row, and I would have hesitated for a second with my old babies. I've started a new school, but it could be a super fun way to introduce myself and personality. Yes, Stephanie. Yes. I want you to make your flat emoji and send it out. Definitely. So lots of folks here that are members of that group. It's a lot of fun, lots of cool tips. So I decided, here we go. This is my Jen's Virtual Training Center here. And let's take a look and see what you can see here. So it's interactive and it's a work in progress. So as you hover over things, I can go to like the Google Trainer Center, the Microsoft Center right here. I've got a little information about ZSpace. These are tools that I use in my craft working with teachers. There's my playlist all about Bitmoji, stuff about Wakelet, Flipgrid, Discovery Ed, Canva. Here's a link to get to my app. All of these are going to be informational right here in terms of like lessons on how to use Merge Cube in the classroom, Flipgrid in the classroom, video in the classroom. So these are all, it's again, work in progress. I'm linking to other resources here, but look, I can get straight to my YouTube channel. You want to know more about the Q? There's my buddy Q, the robot down here. There's my Merge Cube. I had a blast making a little mini Merge Cube. Everything on this screen is made from shapes. I did not bring in any clip art. I did not borrow any images with the exception of the logos of the companies I included. Everything else is completely made from shapes. So it was a labor of love. And that's what I love to do, this stuff right here. And it's super fun. So you want to check out Doink. I mentioned that it's going to take you to Doink. If you want to check out my app, you can click here. I've also got links to different gear and stuff right here. Right here, I see my teammate Tanika says, love the training room. Yes. And now I know what you're going to do. You're going to make one for Tanika's Tech Shop, aren't you? You're going to make one. I know you are. Challenge accepted. I'll post the results on Twitter. I love it, Stephanie. Oh, that would be awesome. Stephanie says, that is beautiful. I'm glad that you like it. I see here, it says, oh, I created a library for a library tech friend, including her book, telling them kids that they miss. Oh, that's awesome. Very, very, very cool. Okay. I see that we hear Julie says, okay, this inspired me. Would be great to set up a classroom for parents to get class info. Oh, I love that idea so that they can click, like they can feel like they're in the classroom. How cool is that? Tanika says, absolutely. You're going to make one, aren't you? I know you are. Love that it's interactive. I need to add this to my class. So that's the main thing is like, you making it really cool to look at, but I wanted mine to be functional so that when I share this out, teachers can just go ahead and click and get resources and stuff. I think it's just kind of a neat way to do it. Like there's my 3D printer back there, camera gear, that kind of stuff. So it's going to be links to gear. It's going to be links to tutorials. It's going to be links to pages with resources. So it is a work in progress. I'm going to be adding a few more things, but overall, we love it. I'm doing an office for, I'd say a parent center. Yes. I'm doing an office for that. Fantastic. So this was like, again, I was playing around and having way too much fun because as you can see, I had way too much fun doing my studio. And this is, my goal is to also, I'm going to add some interactive elements to this. So when people go, well, hey, I want to get that mic that you've got or that camera that you've got and those different lights that you've got. I'm just curious. So this one's going to be made interactive as well so that people can, because I get a lot of questions about Jen, what gear are you using? And that looks really cool, blah, 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 blah. And you want to know what that looks like. So I think you might want to check that out. All right. So we have been talking Bitmoji for a while. I've been sharing some tips. So can I put that check mark there? Did you learn tips and tricks for using your Bitmoji to engage your audience? What tip did you learn that you're excited to implement right now? Go ahead and drop that in the chat. I'd love to know what you're excited to try or do, or what was new for you that you are like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. Because that was the goal of this session, just to share some tips and tricks and ways you can do it. And the thing is I'm learning and doing more. I'm going to be adding more tips and tricks as well. So I'm just curious, questions, comments, thoughts, drop them in the chat if you've got a question for me right now. And as you all are doing that, guess what? I've got a bonus activity. So all of my sessions I've done this summer have been a blast. I've really enjoyed doing them. But I want this one to kind of be a little more interactive. So what I've done is, this is the Creators Challenge. So it's your turn. And I'm going to, I see Crystal says that I want to finish my interactive classroom and do more customizing my Bitmojis. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I see that face swap. I can't wait to see all the face swapping and animating my Bitmoji. Good challenges. I love it. So there we go. Jenny says, I want to try the face swapping. You should definitely do that. The interactive classroom. So we've got lots of options here for you guys to try. So here's what I want to share this link with you guys. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat, and it's also going to be in the description. So if you're watching this from the future, you can contribute this right here. So I want you to try one or more of these ideas. And it looks like you guys have already picked one or two things you want to try. I want you to try to crop and change your Bitmoji shape. So get creative with it. Change your Bitmoji's text. I want you to either maybe try adding a new element to your Bitmoji. So bringing in a thing like adding a phone, or something else that you might be using. If you're a science teacher, you might want to add in a test tube or a microscope or something like that to add other elements. Create a Bitmoji scene. So some of you are already starting on that. You can add 3 Bitmojis together. So get your friends together. You can create a Bitmoji gift story, and you can also app smash with your Bitmoji. All right, disregard this link down here. I'm going to update it because I've got a new link for you. This is it right here. I'm going to copy this link address. I'm going to drop it here in the chat so you guys can grab it. And what you can do is you can actually, I've made it editable. You can hop in there and you can share your creations, because the best way as educators we learn is we learn from each other. So I'd love to see what you guys have. Is everything it needs to do. Okay, I love it. Tanika says, I hate Snapchat, but I'm gimmicky. My Tmoji is everything and needs to dance like me. Yes, since you are a dancer, you need to use the dancing options there. So I put that link in the chat for you guys to add in your creation. So you have a little homework. I'd love to see. I'm going to be checking in to see what you guys have created and how you've added to that. The link to my presentation is going to be available here at the end. I've also got an entire page right here of stuff. So as I stream and I add more tips, there's that face swapping, just the video if you want to watch that. I do a how-to. There's the customized text. There's a link to that Bitmoji friendmoji sheet. So all of that is on my Tech Tips 411 page, and that link will be in the description for you to check out as well. For those of you that haven't already visited my website, I'd love for you to check out Tech Tips 411. There's a bunch of resources there. And if you go to techtips411.com distance, that's distance learning resources that might be beneficial for you as you're planning for the new school year. Additionally, if you're not already signed up for my weekly Tech Tips 411, please go ahead and sign up for that. It will resume in July when we get back to school. So I'd love for you to be signed up. You can also go back and check out the archives on my website. And for those of you tuning in on my Facebook page, thank you so much. If you haven't already checked out Tech Tips 411 on Facebook, please do. And for those of you that are watching on my YouTube channel, thank you so much. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe, because I love to share quick tips, tutorials, projects, all sorts of fun stuff right here on that YouTube channel. This is my last live PD session that I've got scheduled right now. Because Monday is my last day of work, and then I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then I will be sharing out upcoming sessions and what that plan looks like. But one thing I'm thinking about doing is kind of an open Q&A where teachers can ask me questions live, and then just get some ideas of other sessions that you guys might want me to share with you guys. Thank you so much. Super tips. Thank you, Jen and Jenmoji. Yes, she did all the work. I'm just here. So last but not least, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. Some of you have tuned in to multiple sessions throughout this summer PD series. I was really excited about having an opportunity to share with you guys virtually and have it. What's great is that I can. Let's see here. What's great is that I don't know why I flashed there. It could just be me. What's great is that I can share with you guys, and then now people can go back and check out the archives right here. So and says, thank you so much. Awesome session as always, Jen. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoy your summer vacation, and I will see you guys on the next one. So please go ahead and subscribe so you'll be alerted, or go ahead and like Tech Tips 411 on Facebook so you'll be alerted, so know that you wanted to, know about upcoming sessions right now. Crystal says, I wish I would have found your channel sooner. Oh, thank you. But guess what? Everything's archived. Go back, watch some stuff. Let me know in the comments if there's some other tips and things that you'd like to know. Thanks for another great session. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for your time. If you guys are watching this from the future, I appreciate everyone that is here. And I just want to say thank you so much. You guys are rock stars. And I'm going to check your homework. I want to see what you guys go ahead and create. So again, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so that I can see you, let you guys know when upcoming sessions are going to be. All right, guys, have a great one. See you on the next one.